Hey all, Dan here, Periodic Audio. Yeah, I know my hair's long. It's going to get cut. Don't worry. I'm going to get it trimmed back. I know it's long. I look hippie-ish. Not good for an engineer. Anyway, today's video is going to be a little different. I'm not talking about audio. I'm not talking about our products. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm going to talk about a question that's come up to me a few times. People say, hey, Dan, what do you think about this AR, VR thing, especially now that Apple's released their Vision Pro? Let me first preface this by saying I've been involved in AR, VR for a very long time. I mean, 23, 24 years ago is the first time I started playing with it. So, yeah, it was right at the end of 1999. So I've been involved with AR, VR from the get-go, essentially. And I followed it on. I've worked on products that are AR, VR products off and on throughout the years, as well as, things that work with it. Sorry, let me make sure the sun doesn't get in the camera there. So that's kind of my background on what I'm doing. AR, VR, I believe, has a lot of promise as an assistant to people. Technology, in my opinion, should be seamless. You shouldn't even understand you're using technology. You shouldn't even think about using technology. It should just happen, like a light switch. You just walk in, you flip it. You don't think about the fact that there's mechanical contactors in there. They're making contact. There's current coming through a fuse, through a circuit or a circuit breaker, through down the wire into that, going back up through the circuit into the light, heating up the filament in the light, or in the case of an LED, actually energizing the system through a DC to DC converter, things like that, then flowing back out through ground, going back out. You don't think about that. You think light on, boom, done. That's it, right? That's how technology should be. It should be just seamless and easy. And I believe for the last 10, 12 years that we've actually had the processing power and the cameras, like, this one and things like that, that can actually do the interface capabilities and the processing capabilities they are. We've had that for about 10 years, 11 years. I mean, it's pretty well known. The problem is what companies are trying to do with AR and VR, I believe, is fundamentally wrong. They're trying to give you a big gee whiz, wow, look at this amazing experience, things like that. It's like I'm actually living in a cave. It's like I'm actually seeing other people over there. It looks just like them. And no, don't go there. That's wrong. They're trying to get eyeballs. And they're thinking of it as as a YouTube creator, for instance. When you watch a reviewer, they're always like, boo, hey, this great thing coming. They're always poppy, trying to get your attention so that you stay in. And unfortunately, much of that attitude has taken place, has taken hold in product developers and product managers, especially around AR, VR. They're missing stupid little things like, hey, AR, VR guys, here's an instant cue that I guarantee will make your product absolutely desirable to every single person out there. Okay? And this is absolutely mundane, and nobody wants to do it because it's absolutely mundane. You got a camera on the front. And this goes for even just basically little glasses things, like the spectacles, that I did at Snap, that had AR, VR, things like that. Get rid of all the fancy, oh, look, we got 3D world physics and that kind of stuff. Just give me a little black and white or a monochrome display to show some text, or even just an audio interface with a couple cameras. Make it so that when I walk into a grocery store, okay, I've added things. I use Alexa and Google at home. So let's say I've added all my grocery shopping list to Google as I run out of things. Say, hey, Google, put this on the shopping list, put ketchup on the shopping list, put salt on the shopping list, things like that. So when I walk into the grocery store, I look down the aisle and I go, huh. And the camera takes a picture and it says, you need to go down this aisle. Okay, so I start going down the aisle. The camera is scanning. It says, stop. Salt is on your right. Oh, there it is. I need salt. Boom. And I see it checked off my list going to the next one. Simple, stupid, right? All it's doing is my grocery list. And as I'm walking to the store, making sure I don't miss things in my grocery list, right? And saying, it's over here, it's over there. Stupid little thing. You know what? That completely resonates with every person who has ever gone grocery shopping. 100%. So you probably have upwards of 300 million people in the U.S., because, people bring their kids with them when they go shopping, things like that, who understand the paradigm there and see the immediate value in AR and VR, okay? Poking around at keyboards of the screen in the VR world doesn't work. How far do you go? Things like that. Physical things do. Interact with the voice instead. Have it just tell you what to do. Stupid little mundane things like that. But sadly, so much of the AR, VR world, both programmers who create apps for it, as well as companies who develop the product, have gone off on these huge wild tangents of like, oh, look, we can make this photorealistic rendering of somebody. You know what? It's one of the things that Snapchat got right was creating avatars that look cartoonish on purpose. We can look at like where the Apple Visions are right now, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, this is horrendous! I don't look like that." It looks like I'm like a melded piece of Play-Doh trying to look similar like real. No, just if you can't do it 100% photorealistic, make it obvious that it's an avatar that it's not the real person there, and just put that up. That's good enough. That's all you need to do. Stop trying to get so far down the world where people aren't able to relate to it. I don't care that it doesn't look exactly like some of my friends, like, for instance, Walter Wiggins, the Walter Magic. Hey, calling out to you, buddy. That kind of thing. I don't care if it looks just like him, as long as I'm like, oh, that's Walter, he's over there, got it, things like that. We're having conversation, I could see him, things like that. I don't even really need to see him though when I'm doing conversation. We got audio. It's what we listen to, right? It's how we talk verbally, things like that. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Stop trying to make complex gesture-based controls. Have you ever walked around with your hands out in front of you for 10 minutes? Try it sometime. I challenge every one of you to go out and spend today 10 minutes just walking around your house with your arms out, things like that. Tell me how your shoulders feel after about 5 or 6 minutes, and then keep going, because that's what you're doing. It's now you're having to work for technology rather than technology working for you. I should be able to just, like I do with Alexa, say, hey, Alexa, what's the weather tomorrow? Done. It just happens. I don't have to go on up and say, oh, I want to pull up the weather app here, and I want to bring it down. I want to explode it. No, screw that. Just let me ask it. That's what we should be building towards. Let's get down to the point of being mundane, simplistic, very easy, and suddenly consumers will get it. And now you're going to start getting true volume. You're going to get true velocity of sales because people understand it. Oh, and here's the killer by doing that. By doing that, we eliminate a ton of computational power in these devices. Use the cell phone. I don't need 5 millisecond latency because I'm not doing fancy video stuff. I'm not trying to bounce around rubber balls, red balls against walls and things like that. I don't need instant feedback. Hey, 100, 200 millisecond latency on a conversation or a voice kind of thing, or having it go up and just with a little tech, my grocery list going, cross it off and it disappears. Hey, half a second latency is not a problem. Suddenly the computational needs of this device that I put on my head plummet, which means battery life explodes. I got the biggest kick when Apple released the Vision Pro, and I saw on one of their marketing boards, like it's checking off all the things it does. And one of the things was like 45-minute, quote, all day, unquote, experience. I don't know where you live, but 45 minutes doesn't cut it for me for a day. I'm probably up 16 to 18 hours a day. I might use a device like that for 5 to 6 hours. I don't want to have to stop halfway through it, just barely get going and stop and recharge and stop and recharge. That's not an all-day experience. However, if you eliminate 90% of the complexity on the computational display capabilities there, hey, with that battery pack, we can probably get a 12 to 14 hour life. Or better yet, I could probably just build into the device 6 to 8 hours of battery. That's good enough. So strip back on the complexity, focus on what the consumer really wants to use. And in fact, not just the high-end tech consumer who's a reviewer who wants to go, wow, gee, look at this cool thing. Strip it way back. You're going to end up with products that people can relate to, that people want to buy, that's going to actually improve their life. Oh, and by doing all that and stripping the complexity out, it's going to last all day, right? It's going to last all day, and it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper, which means now you can offer a product at $500 to $600 instead of $3,500. So that's my take on AR, VR. Technology is there to do what we need to do. Obviously, we can do it. The problem is it's being applied completely wrong. And these companies want to continue applying it completely wrong because they believe that if they can get a big splash and make a big wow kind of thing, reviewers and creators and influencers will come and say, wow, this is the greatest thing, and they're hoping people will buy it. That's not going to happen because people are still going to go out and look at it and go, this is really cool, but you know what? $3,500. It's not worth seeing a munged up face of somebody that I already know. I don't need to see that. Help me, buy my groceries. Help me. Here's another little idea, right? Last one before I go. Okay, things like that. Developers. I want it so that when I am assembling furniture, let's say I bought a shelf, a little computer shelf for the printer for my wife from IKEA, right? I throw all the parts on the floor. I break out the parts. I should be able to look at it with my AR thing, and it should be able to say, okay, what step are you on? Great, I'm on step 1. It says, you need this screw. It looks at it. It should highlight the 4 screws I need. Because it's got a camera, it can look at it and say, that screw matches based upon the dimensions of everything else. That's the screw. It just highlight it. Just put a little monochrome box around it. Boom. You've simplified my life. I'm going to use that product all the time because it just does stupid little things like that. It's not complex. It doesn't have to show me how I pick it up and put it on. I'm smart enough. I'm a trained monkey. I can pick it up and put it in myself and get it working. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Make it mundane. Make it work for regular people every day. Make the battery life as a result shoot skyrocket real high and make the cost plummet. That's the key to AR, VR. And sadly, I think we're probably 5 to 8 years away before somebody finally gets this message. Anyway, there's my thoughts on AR, VR. Middle of Saturday. Have a great day. I'm going to go and enjoy myself. See y'all later. Bye.